Greetings in the name of the risen Christ. We continue in our Easter season. In this season of Easter, we reflect together how the signs of life is revealed in our midst. How the signs of risen Christ is revealed to the disciples who were afraid, who doubted, who were grieving losses. How did they see that Jesus was indeed alive? Today I'll be reflecting on the Gospel of Luke 24, verse 13 through 35. This is a story often known as Walk to Emmaus. The disciples were discouraged by the death of Jesus Christ, was walking away from Jerusalem, center of the civilization as they know it, center of the religious life as they know it. They are walking away from Jerusalem to this town called Emmaus. As they walk, they are joined by a stranger. This is not just a person who they did not know, but this is a person who is truly strange. They respond to them when the stranger asks, "What are you guys talking about?" They're explaining about Jesus, and in the middle of it, they're saying, "Are you the only person in this whole town, in this whole region, who does not know about execution of Jesus Christ? Are you the only person?" Equivalent to our context would be somebody who's asking, "What is coronavirus? What is COVID-19?" As if they have never heard of it. Are you the only person in the whole world who has not heard of COVID-19? Well, the miracle happened. These strangers walked together. Indeed, the Bible is full of stories of the people of God accepting strangers into their life. And you have heard the stories about people who wanted to see Jesus and Jesus appearing to them as a homeless person, homeless beggar. You know the stories about Abraham, who received a stranger guest that he didn't know, but it turns out that they were the messengers of God. I say the signs of life, signs of resurrected Christ is evident when people are willing to walk with their strangers, especially in light of such a polarized society that we live in. The signs of life, signs of grace, signs of risen Christ is evident when people pay attention to those who do not share the same worldview or do not hold on to the same political, cultural ideology. When we can listen to each other, when we can walk with them, even though we find them strange, even though we find them annoying and frustrating, there is a sign of life. As they walk together, the very stranger who the disciples thought were foolish, strange, says to them, "How foolish you are." In a way, this is what happened when we walk with a stranger. As we walk together with the people who don't share the same values, same worldview, we recognize, hopefully, that we may be the ones who are foolish. That, again, is a sign of life, I believe. When somehow we recognize the things that we thought was clearly true, the things that we hold on to as our values are often challenged. And gracefully we can open our eyes and we can see that we may be the foolish one. Then as they walk together, the disciples invite the stranger to eat with them. Hospitality, radical hospitality, is a core value of who we are. I remember when we are talking about radical hospitality, some people talk about hotel business because, after all, we call them hospitality business. But radical hospitality is not just about how exceptional the service is. Radical hospitality has more to do with our willingness to accept strangers, walk with them, and eat with them. The people who we do not find fun, we do not find pleasant, the people who we have a difficult time relating to, when our hearts become big enough to accommodate them and embrace them, eat with them, and yes, love them. That's where the radical hospitality is. And where there's a radical hospitality, I trust there is God. In the breaking of the bread with a stranger, they recognize that Jesus was with them. That they recognize the life was with them. Then, and when they recognize, Jesus vanishes. Not sure what the author of this past story really intended, but that has been the experience of Christians throughout centuries. When we recognize the signs of life is there, we want to hold on to it, but it vanishes. And we journey together again for the next stranger who will bring to us the signs of life again. And whether we can invite them into our heart, into our life, determines whether we are ready for yet another signs of life. Amen.